Watch before deleted. He locked the door and she didn't ask him to stop. Maya had known Rachel since they were 7 years old. 20 years of friendship. 20 years of sharing secrets, dreams, late-night phone calls, and countless memories. They were the kind of friends people envied. The kind who finished each other's sentences and could communicate with just a look across a crowded room. But on a Tuesday afternoon in March, everything Maya thought she knew about their friendship was about to be questioned. It started innocently enough. Maya was planning a surprise birthday party for Rachel's 30th birthday. She wanted it to be perfect, so she reached out to everyone in Rachel's life. Friends from college, co-workers, even some childhood friends Rachel had mentioned over the years. Maya spent weeks organizing, coordinating, keeping everything secret. She decided to create a memory board with photos from throughout Rachel's life. Desk, she asked Rachel's mom for some old pictures, and Mrs. Peterson was thrilled to help. She handed Maya 3 large photo albums and a shoebox filled with memories. Maya sat on her living room floor that evening, going through decades of photographs. 5 baby pictures, school photos, family vacations. She smiled at the memories, some she'd been part of, others from before they'd met. Then she found something that made her pause. It was a photograph from about 15 years ago. Rachel was standing with a group of teenagers at what looked like some kind of facility. The building behind them had a sign, though. It was partially visible. But what caught Maya's attention was Rachel's appearance. She looked different, thinner, tired. There was something in her eyes that Maya had never seen before. Maya flipped through more photos from that same period. There were several months of Rachel's life that seemed missing from their friendship. She tried to remember that time. They would have been around 15, hadn't Rachel told her she'd gone to visit relatives that summer. Or was it a special academic program? The more Maya thought about it, the less certain she became. Breaths. She pulled out her phone and started scrolling through old messages, trying to piece together that timeline. That's when she noticed something else. Rachel had been oddly vague about that entire period of her life. Whenever it came up, she'd change the subject or give short, dismissive answers. Maya felt a knot forming in her stomach, not because she thought Rachel had done something wrong, but because she realized her best friend had been carrying something heavy for years. Something she'd never felt safe enough to share, even with Maya. The next morning, Maya couldn't concentrate at work. She kept thinking about those photos, about all the times Rachel had deflected questions about her teenage years, about the small moments over 2 decades where Rachel had seemed to hold back, to keep a part of herself hidden. During lunch, Maya's phone buzzed. It was Rachel. Coffee after work? Need to vent about my boss, LOL. Maya stared at the message. This was their normal routine. Rachel would text, they'd meet up, talk about surface-level stuff, laugh, and go home. But Maya couldn't shake the feeling that there was so much more beneath the surface, so much her best friend had never trusted her with. She typed back, "Sure, usual place at 5?" That afternoon dragged on forever. Maya's mind raced with questions. Should she ask Rachel about the photos? Would Rachel feel betrayed that Maya had been looking through her past? Or worse, would Rachel shut down completely? By the time 5 o'clock came, Maya had decided. She wouldn't bring it up. She'd wait for Rachel to share when she was ready. That's what good friends do, right? They respect boundaries. They don't push. But when Maya walked into the coffee shop and saw Rachel sitting in their usual corner booth, something shifted. Rachel looked up and smiled, but Maya noticed something she'd somehow missed before. That same tiredness from the photograph. that same guardedness in her eyes. Rachel waved her over. "You won't believe what happened today," she started, launching into a story about her boss. Desperate, Maya sat down, ordered her usual latte, and listened. But for the first time in 20 years of friendship, she felt like she was talking to a stranger. Not because Rachel had changed, but because Maya was finally seeing what had always been there: the walls. The carefully controlled narrative. The parts of Rachel that had always remained locked away. And Maya had to make a choice: continue pretending everything was fine, or risk their entire friendship by acknowledging the truth they'd both been avoiding. Maya spent the next 3 days in a fog. She went through the motions at work, responded to messages, even continued planning Rachel's surprise party, but her mind was somewhere else entirely. Every interaction with Rachel felt different now, like watching a movie she'd seen 100 times but suddenly noticing details she'd missed. On Friday evening, Rachel called. "Movie night at my place tomorrow?" Breath. "I need a break from everything." "Sure," Maya said, trying to sound normal. "Should I bring snacks?" "You know it. The usual." "Oh, and maybe we can finally watch that documentary you've been talking about?" After they hung up, Maya sat on her couch, staring at nothing. This was killing her. Not knowing was one thing, but knowing that something existed and pretending it didn't felt like betraying their friendship in a whole new way. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was her sister, Christine. "Hey, random question," Christine texted. "Remember when you were obsessed with maintaining that perfect friendship with Rachel in high school? Mom said you used to stress about it constantly." Maya frowned. "Bree, she didn't remember that." "What do you mean?" "You were always worried about saying the wrong thing or pushing too hard." "You told Mom once that Rachel seemed fragile and you didn't want to break her." The words hit Maya like a punch. Fragile. Even back then, she'd sensed something. She'd just chosen to ignore it, to keep things comfortable rather than real. Saturday came, and Maya showed up at Rachel's apartment with popcorn, candy, and a knot in her stomach. Rachel answered the door in sweatpants and an oversized hoodie, her hair in a messy bun. "Thank God you're here," Rachel said, pulling her inside. "I've had the week from hell." They settled on the couch, and Rachel started venting about work drama, a difficult client, her mother's constant nagging about grandchildren. Maya listened, laughed at the right moments, made sympathetic sounds, but she felt like she was watching from outside her own body. Halfway through the movie, Rachel paused it.
"Okay, what's wrong?" "Nothing. Maya said automatically."
"We've been friends for 20 years. I know when something's bothering you." The irony wasn't lost on Maya. Rachel could read her perfectly, but Maya had somehow missed 2 decades of whatever Rachel was hiding. "But I'm fine, really. Just tired from work." Rachel studied her for a long moment, then pressed play again. But the easy atmosphere was gone. They'd both felt it. When the movie ended, Maya started gathering her things. "I should head out." "Early morning tomorrow, on a Sunday?" Rachel asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yeah. I'm meeting my mom for brunch." Another lie. They were piling up now, creating distance where there'd never been any before. Rachel walked her to the door. As Maya was putting on her shoes, Rachel said quietly, You know you can talk to me about anything, right? Maya looked up, and for a split second she saw something flash across Rachel's face. Fear? Vulnerability? It was gone before she could identify it.
I know, Maya said. Same goes for you. The words hung in the air between them, heavy with meaning neither of them was brave enough to unpack.
That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She kept replaying their conversation, Rachel's expression, that moment at the door. At 2 in the morning, she finally grabbed her laptop and did something she'd never done before. She Googled Rachel's name, along with their hometown. Nothing unusual came up. Some social media profiles, a mention in a local newspaper about a high school award. Maya tried different combinations. Rachel's full name with treatment center. Rachel's name with dates from 15 years ago. Then she found it. A small article from a local newspaper dated August 2010. It was about a youth mental health facility that had received a grant. In the accompanying photo, there was a group of teenagers participating in an art therapy session. Great. And there, in the back row, partially obscured but unmistakable, was Rachel. Maya's heart pounded. She clicked through related articles, finding mentions of the program. It was a residential treatment center for teenagers struggling with depression, anxiety, and eating disorders. Suddenly, everything made sense. The missing summer. The vague explanations. The way Rachel sometimes pushed food around her plate without eating. The careful control she maintained over every aspect of her life. Maya closed her laptop feeling sick. Not because of what she'd discovered, but because Rachel had carried this alone for 15 years. Because in 20 years of friendship, Maya had never created a space safe enough for Rachel to share this part of herself. The surprise party was in 1 week. Maya had invited 40 people to celebrate Rachel's life. But sitting there in the dark, Maya realized she didn't actually know the person she was celebrating. She knew the version Rachel had carefully constructed, the funny, capable, always put together Rachel. But the real Rachel? The one who'd survived something difficult enough to require residential treatment? The one who'd rebuilt herself as a teenager and had been maintaining that reconstruction ever since. That Rachel was still a stranger. Sunday morning, Maya woke up with a decision already made. She couldn't do this anymore. The pretending, the surface-level friendship, the carefully avoiding anything real. If their 20-year friendship meant anything, it had to be strong enough to handle honesty. She texted Rachel. "Can we talk? Like really talk?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, dense, then appeared again. Finally. That sounds serious. "Everything okay?" "I'll come over this afternoon if you're free." "I'm free. You're scaring me a little, though." "Don't be scared. I promise it's nothing bad." But as Maya drove to Rachel's apartment that afternoon, she wasn't sure that was true. This conversation could go a dozen different ways. Rachel might feel betrayed. She might shut down completely. Their friendship might not survive this. But Maya also knew they couldn't keep going the way they had been. That wasn't real friendship. That was just 2 people agreeing to keep each other comfortable. Rachel opened the door before Maya could knock. She'd clearly been watching for her. "Okay, you're freaking me out. What's going on?" Maya stepped inside and they sat down on the couch. Not like they usually did, relaxed and casual, but facing each other, tense. "I need to tell you something, and I need you to let me finish before you react, okay?" Rachel nodded, her face pale.
I was going through old photos for your birthday party.
"Your mom gave me some albums." Maya watched Rachel's expression shift. understanding dawning. I saw pictures from when we were 15. From that summer you told me you were visiting relatives. Rachel stood up abruptly. Maya, I can't do this right now. Rachel, wait! No. You went through my past without permission. You dug into something that has nothing to do with you. Rachel's voice was shaking. It has everything to do with me, Maya said, standing too. Because you're my best friend, and you've been carrying something alone for 15 years. Because I let you carry it alone, because I was too afraid to ask real questions. You don't understand! Then help me understand! Maya's voice cracked. I'm not asking you to explain everything right now. I'm not demanding your trauma as payment for our friendship. I'm saying I see you. The real you. And I'm sorry I didn't see you sooner. Rachel stood frozen, tears streaming down her face. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then Rachel sank back onto the couch, her hands covering her face. Maya sat beside her, not touching, just present. I had an eating disorder, Rachel finally said, her voice muffled. When I was 15. Breath. It got bad enough that I had to go to a residential treatment center for 3 months. Okay, Maya said softly. That's it? Just okay? What else would I say? Rachel looked up, her eyes red. I don't know.
That you're disappointed. That you're angry I lied.
But that you don't want to be friends with someone who's damaged.
Rachel, you're not damaged.
You went through something hard, and you survived it. That doesn't make you less. It makes you human. I didn't tell you because... Rachel's voice broke. Brass. Because I was ashamed. Because I didn't want you to look at me differently. Because every time I tried to bring it up over the years, I just couldn't. Maya felt tears in her own eyes now. And I didn't ask because I was scared. Scared of making you uncomfortable. Scared of saying the wrong thing. But, Rachel, that's not friendship. That's just two people pretending everything's fine. Breaths. They sat in silence for a while. Finally, Rachel spoke again. It's not just the eating disorder. It's everything that came with it. The depression. The anxiety. The fact that I still struggle sometimes. That I have to be really careful about certain things. That there are parts of me that will always be fragile. Everyone has fragile parts, Maya said. Mine are just different from yours. Are they, though? Because from where I'm sitting, you seem pretty together.
Maya laughed, but it came out sad. Rachel, I've spent 20 years trying to be the perfect friend to you.
I don't disagree with people because I'm terrified of conflict. I overthink every word I say. I pretend to be more confident than I am because I think that's what people need from me. We've both been performing for each other this whole time. Rachel wiped her eyes. That's exhausting.
It really is. They looked at each other, and for the first time in years, maybe ever, Maya felt like she was actually seeing her friend.
Inspiration. Not the performance, not the careful construction, but the real person underneath. I don't know how to not perform, Rachel admitted, but I've been doing it for so long. Me neither, Maya said. But maybe we could figure it out together. Rachel nodded slowly.
I'm still mad that you went through my photos without asking about what you found first. That's fair. I'm sorry.
I should have come to you immediately, and I'm terrified that now that you know everything will be different between us. Things are already different, Maya said gently. But maybe different can be better? The week that followed was strange. Maya and Rachel texted like usual, but there was a new weight to their conversations. Not a bad weight exactly, but an awareness that hadn't been there before. They were both being more careful, more thoughtful, trying to figure out what this new version of their friendship looked like. The surprise party was in 4 days, and Maya was having second thoughts. Was this really the right time to throw a big celebration? Should she cancel? Postpone? She called Rachel's mom, Mrs. Peterson, who'd been helping with the planning. I need your advice about something, Maya said. About Rachel. There was a pause. Did she tell you? Maya's heart skipped. About the treatment center? Yes. Did you know? I didn't know. Mrs. Peterson sighed. I suspected. Rachel's always been private about that time. I kept hoping she'd open up to you, but I also understood why she didn't. It was her story to tell, not mine. I'm worried the party might be too much right now.
We just had this big emotional conversation, and I don't want to overwhelm her. Maya, can I tell you something about my daughter?
Rachel spent years believing she had to be perfect to deserve love. Perfect daughter, perfect student, perfect friend. The eating disorder was partly about that. The control, the perfectionism. And she spent the last 15 years still trying to be perfect for everyone. Maya felt tears welling up, breaths. She'd contributed to that. All those years of never pushing, never questioning, treating Rachel like she might break if the conversation got too real. What should I do? Maya asked. Throw the party. Let her see that people love her, mess and all. But more importantly, keep being honest with her. That's what she needs. Not someone who handles her with kid gloves, but someone who treats her like a whole person. The night before the party, Maya couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about everything Mrs. Peterson had said. About the version of friendship she and Rachel had maintained for 20 years. About all the ways they'd both been hiding. At midnight, her phone lit up. Rachel. You awake? Yeah. Can't sleep.
Me neither.
Can I come over? 20 minutes later, they were sitting on Maya's balcony, wrapped in blankets against the cool night air. I've been thinking a lot this week, Rachel said. About us. About our friendship. Me too. I realized something. I've been so focused on hiding the eating disorder stuff that I've hidden everything else too. Like, you don't really know me. The real me. Grasp. Maya waited, letting Rachel find her words. I'm not actually that into the movies we always watch. Desperate. I just pretend to like them because you like them. I hate brunch, but we go every Sunday because it's our thing. I'm allergic to the perfume you wear, but I've never told you because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Maya started laughing. Dispersed. She couldn't help it. Why are you laughing? Rachel asked, but she was smiling too. Because I hate brunch too. I only go because I thought you loved it. And those movies? I watched them because I thought they were your favorite. They both dissolved into giggles, the kind that leave you gasping for air. "We're idiots," Rachel said. "The absolute worst." When the laughter faded, Rachel got serious again. "I want to tell you things, Britt. Real things. But I don't know where to start." "Start anywhere," Maya said. "We have time. Rest." She told Maya about the years of therapy, the relapses, the hard work of recovery. She talked about the anxiety that still sometimes kept her up at night, about the ways she'd learned to cope, and the ways she still struggled. She talked about feeling like a fraud sometimes, like everyone saw this confident, capable person, but inside she was still that scared 15-year-old girl. And Maya listened. Really listened. Not planning what to say next, not trying to fix anything, just being present. When Rachel finished, Maya shared too. She told Rachel about her own struggles with anxiety, her people-pleasing tendencies, her fear of disappointing anyone. She talked about how exhausting it was to constantly manage other people's emotions. "I've been so busy trying to be what I thought you needed," Maya said, "that I never let you see what I actually needed, which is a friend who knows I'm not perfect and likes me anyway. Someone I can be real with, even when real is messy." Rachel reached over and squeezed Maya's hand. "I can do that. If you can do the same for me, Beale." As the sun started to rise, they were still talking, making plans for what their friendship could look like going forward. No more pretending to like things they didn't. No more avoiding difficult conversations. No more performing for each other. "So, about tomorrow?" Rachel said hesitantly. "My birthday." Maya's stomach dropped. "You know about the party. Maya, you've been mysteriously busy for weeks. My mom keeps smiling at me weird, and 3 different people have accidentally mentioned it. Of course I know." "Are you mad?"
No! Actually, I'm really touched.
But also terrified. "We can cancel." "No," Rachel interrupted. "I don't want to cancel. I want to show up and be myself. The real myself. Not the perfect version I think everyone expects. And if that's awkward or weird, then it's awkward and weird. What if I told you I'm also terrified?" Maya admitted. "What if I planned this whole thing wrong? What if it's too much?" Rachel smiled. "Then it's too much, and we'll laugh about it later. Maya, we can't keep trying to control everything." Sometimes things are messy, and that's okay. The party was supposed to start at 7. By 6:30, Maya was convinced it was going to be a disaster. The decorations looked cheap in the bright light. The memory board she'd made felt too personal now. What if Rachel didn't want everyone knowing about her life? Her sister Christine found her hiding in the bathroom. "Get out here. Rachel just arrived." Maya's heart pounded as she walked out. Rachel stood in the doorway of the community center, taking in the decorations, the people starting to arrive, the giant Happy 30th Birthday banner. Their eyes met across the room. Rachel smiled. Not the polite, perfect smile Maya had seen 1,000 times. A real smile, slightly nervous, completely genuine. "Surprise," Maya said weakly.
"You're terrible at keeping secrets," Rachel said, walking over. "But I love you anyway." People started arriving in waves.
College, friends, coworkers, Rachel's family, neighbors. The room filled with chatter and laughter. Maya watched Rachel navigate the crowd, looking for signs that she was overwhelmed or uncomfortable. But Rachel seemed okay, more than okay. She was actually being herself. When someone asked how she'd been, instead of the usual, "Great!" "Everything's great," she said. "Honestly, it's been a tough year, but I'm working through it." Around 8 o'clock, Rachel clinked her glass to get everyone's attention. "I want to say something," she announced. The room quieted. "Thank you all for being here, for being part of my life. But I especially want to thank Maya." Maya felt her face flush as everyone turned to look at her. "Maya and I have been friends for 20 years, Rachel continued. Phew. And for most of those 20 years, I've been showing her the version of myself I thought she wanted to see. The happy, put-together, never-a-problem version. And she let me do that because she's kind and didn't want to make me uncomfortable." The room was completely silent now. But recently, Maya did something brave. She pushed past the comfortable version of our friendship and demanded something real, something honest. And it scared me. It's still scaring me. But it's also the best thing that's ever happened to our friendship. Rachel's eyes found Maya's. So this is me, being real. I'm not perfect. I struggle with things. I have bad days. I've been through stuff that I'm still working through. And I'm done pretending otherwise.
If that makes anyone uncomfortable, that's okay. But I'm tired of performing for people.
There was a beat of silence, and then Rachel's mom started clapping. Others joined in, and soon the whole room was applauding. After the toast, people came up to Rachel, one by one. Some shared their own struggles. Others just hugged her. Maya watched in amazement as her friend connected with people in a way she never had before. Without the performance, without the walls, Rachel was actually more magnetic, not less. Later, when the party was winding down and people were saying their goodbyes, Rachel pulled Maya aside. "That was terrifying," she said. "But you did it. I did it. And you know what's weird?" Inspiration. I feel lighter. Like I've been carrying around this heavy secret for so long that I forgot what it felt like to just exist without it. "I'm proud of you," Maya said. "I'm proud of us," Rachel corrected. "This whole thing, it wasn't just me being brave. It was you being brave enough to risk our friendship for something real." Breaths. They helped clean up the community center, talking about the party, laughing about the awkward moments, discussing who said what. It felt normal, but different. Better. As they were leaving, Rachel said, "So, about our Sunday brunches." "Yeah? What if we skip brunch and do something we actually both enjoy?" Maya grinned. Brit.
Like what? I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out.
Together, the real us. Breaths. Walking to their cars, Maya thought about everything that had changed in the past 2 weeks. They'd almost lost their friendship by trying too hard to keep it perfect, but by risking honesty, by being willing to be uncomfortable, they'd found something stronger. "Hey, Rachel," Maya called out. "Yeah? I'm allergic to dogs, but I always pretended to love them because you love them." Rachel stopped walking and turned around. "I'm not actually a dog person." "I just thought you were." They stared at each other for a moment, then burst out laughing. "We're the worst," Maya said. "The absolute worst," Rachel agreed. "But at least now we're the worst together, honestly." As Maya drove home that night, she thought about friendship. Real friendship. Not the perfect Instagram-worthy version where everything is always great, but the messy, complicated, sometimes scary version, where you see each other's flaws and choose to stay anyway. Brass. She thought about all the years she and Rachel had wasted being afraid of honesty. But she also thought about all the years they still had ahead of them. Breath. Years of being real with each other. Years of actual connection instead of performance. Her phone buzzed. Rachel, thank you for not giving up on us. Maya smiled and texted back, thank you for being brave enough to be real. Because that's what real friendship was. Not two people pretending to be perfect for each other, but two imperfect people choosing to show up honestly, even when it's hard. Breath, especially when it's hard. And that was worth celebrating.